Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this easy wide sleeve tee. So to start, I'm using about 1.2 meters of fabric. This was just a piece I had left over, and I'm going to fold it in half long ways and then fold it in half again in the opposite direction. Next, I'm just using my ruler to straighten out the bottom edge as well as the edge along the side. Next, I measure out from the center of the shirt where roughly my shoulder sits, and then from there I'm going to measure down to the armpit. So you want to make sure that this measurement is as wide as you would like your sleeve to be, and then I'm just going to cut this out to create the sleeve and the side seam. Now I just measure again from the center how wide I want my neckline to be. Then I'm going to trace out a slight curve and cut this piece out. So at this point, the shirt should look like this, so unfolded, it's just one big piece with the neck hole. Now I'm just going to fold the shirt in half with the right sides facing and make up the side seam. So for my side, I wanted to have a bit of a slit towards the bottom. So here I'm just measuring out where I want my stitching to start. And I'm going to sew up towards the armpit and down the sleeve. And I'm going to repeat this on the other side, just measuring where I want the slit to start and closing up the rest. When you finish sewing these sleeves, it's important to just make a little snip by the armpit before you reach the threads, so that the sleeve doesn't pucker when you put it on. Now I'm just hemming the bottom edge by turning my fabric over 1/2 inch. My fabric didn't fray at all, so I didn't double roll my hem, but feel free to do that if that's what you need. And I'm going to repeat this step on the other side so that the bottom hem of each half of the shirt is folded over. Next, I'm going to work on that side slit, so again just turning my seam allowance over, which is 1/2 inch, and I'm going to stitch it down with a straight stitch. When I get to the top of the slit, I'm just going to pivot and sew straight across the opening, and then come back down the other side of the slit. So this is what we were sewing there. You can see we come up the slit, straight across the top, and down the other side. Next, I'm hemming the armholes, so just again flipping my 1/2 inch over, this time making sure that that sleeve seam is pressed open flat. Again, I repeat this for both sides. Now I'm just adjusting the neckline because mine was a bit too flat, so I'm just going to cut the front to be a little bit deeper. So now I measure all the way around the neck opening to create the binding. Remember to add seam allowance to your binding, and I cut out my binding to be 1.5 inches wide, and then the length of the neck opening plus seam allowance. So here's what my binding looks like, and I'm going to start at the back of the top in the center, and I'm going to take the binding right side facing the wrong side or the inside of the shirt, and I'm going to place it right at the back and just sew it down along the neckline with a straight stitch. When I get to the end, I am leaving those 2 flaps open for right now, and then I'm just going to go after and pull them together and sew it closed using my 1/2 inch seam allowance. Next, I'm just going to fold this piece so that the raw edge of the binding touches the raw edge of the neckline, and then I'm going to fold it over to the right side of the shirt and stitch it down to finish up this binding. Once again, for this part, make sure that your seam is lying flat and pressed open. And then just continue to fold over and stitch down all the way along the band. And once this step is done, that completes the top. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and if you'd like to see me create anything else in the future. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.